The skill has been practiced by ethnic Shui women in southwest China for 1,000 years. Nobody knows for sure how the art of producing embroidery from the hair of horses' tails originated, but explanations are found in legend. Why is it that horsetail embroidery is so closely associated with slings for carrying babies? Find out in Horsetail Embroidery, part of our unique handicraft series. It's March 2011, and Wei Taohua is working at her home in Sandu Shui Autonomous County in Guizhou Province. She's making an embroidery from horsetail hair when the telephone rings. She's been invited to present her work at an international exhibition of handicrafts and handmade gifts to be held in Italy. The invitation leaves her both excited and a little nervous. She has put many years of effort into telling the world about this unique embroidery technique. But she doesn't feel ready to take part in such a high-profile international event. Apparently, the exposition's organizers have a particular interest in traditional Chinese handicrafts. And they are curious about how hair from a horse's tail can be used to create colorful designs. Sandu is the only Shui autonomous county in China. The Shui are descended from an ancient ethnic group called the Baiyue. The Shui have bequeathed a dual legacy to Chinese culture. One part of that legacy is the unique Shui writing system. The other is horsetail embroidery. A feature of the traditional embroidery is the ancient sewing skills that are used. The town of Shandong in Sandu Shui Autonomous County, where Wei Taohua lives, is said to be the cradle of these skills. Most of the people in the area breed horses. No doubt, some of these horses are the source of the hair Wei Taohua uses in her embroidery. Wei Taohua explains that the Shui people are keen horse breeders. They are particularly fond of a local Guizhou breed, which is capable of carrying heavy loads and yet moves fast. Duan Festival is the most important event of the year for the Shui people. Horse racing is always part of the celebrations. After enjoying their New Year feast, they come in droves to see the horse races. But first, the contestants groom their horses. Oral tradition explains the origin of horsetail embroidery.
相传呢，古的时候，阿公，在上马坡之前，要给马好好的打扮一下。可是打扮马当中，他用梳子梳了马尾，地上掉了非常多的马尾丝。阿婆一看见了，哎呀，这马尾丝那么结实啊，丢了，太浪费了。于是阿婆就把那马尾丝集中起来。 因为阿婆特别的心灵手巧，阿婆就用那个马尾丝编成了帽子啊之类的，细细的，非常漂亮。后来呢，她慢慢就发现了，可以用马尾刺绣。
In this romantic version of events, it seems the Shui people were so fond of their horses that they refused to even discard the loose hair that fell from their tails. However, there's also a more prosaic explanation.
用马尾制作的马尾线呢，它的里面的这个马尾呢，还会分泌出油脂，滋润这个线，使这个线呢坚韧，颜色不易退败。水族使用马尾绣呢，还有一个很重要的原因，就是它的这个祖先崇拜。 因为马对这个水族而言呢，他们的这个马呢，是救了他们这个祖先的这个性命，是他们这个族群能够存活下来的一个关键。所以呢，使用马尾来做马尾绣呢，对祖先是一个纪念。
The truth is, no one knows for sure how this unique form of embroidery originated. No record of it can be found in Shui histories. The Shui people use a sling to carry their babies on their backs. Other ethnic groups use the hair from horses' tails in embroidery. But it's only among the Shui people that horsetail embroidery is used in such everyday items such as baby slings. The quality of a sling is regarded as a measure of a woman's skill and of a bride's family's wealth. The skill has been practiced by ethnic Shui women in southwest China for 1,000 years. Nobody knows for sure how the art of producing embroidery from the hair of horses' tails originated, but explanations are found in legend. Why is it that horsetail embroidery is so closely associated with slings for carrying babies? Find out in Horsetail Embroidery, part of our unique handicraft series. According to Shui tradition, before a girl is married off, her mother will make a sling, which she presents to her daughter when she gives birth to her first baby. The more exquisitely embroidered the sling, the higher the status the wife enjoys in her husband's house. The horsetail embroidered sling, if it remains strong and intact, will become a family heirloom.
在这个经济不发达、比较封闭的这个社会里面呢，只有这个 子孙健康成长，这个族群才能够得以繁荣，得以壮大。所以这个背带呢，就变成了，不仅是一家人对这个儿童的这个关爱，已经上升到整个族群的这个对这个后辈的这个关爱。所以在这个马尾绣背带里面呢，它融入了很多水族的这个文化内涵在里面。
Wei Taohua explains that there are 6 steps in producing horsetail embroidery. The first step is to make the thread. The number of hairs used varies depending on how thick the thread needs to be. Normally, it's 2 or 3. The thread is wrapped in white silk. The length of the thread is determined by the needs of the spinner. The demand for large quantities of horsehair has pushed up the price in recent years. A strand a finger thick now costs 12 yuan. Finer hair is even more expensive. How much horsetail thread is needed to outline a simple design? According to Wei Taohua, a design just a few centimeters across can call for as much as 20 meters of thread. The white horsetail thread, wrapped in silk, has a specific role to play in the embroidered design.
白色的这个马尾线呢，它不是像十字绣一样直接用来刺绣，它只是作为这个边框。它的这个很漂亮这个色彩呢，它是通过中间这个甜心的这个部分来展示出来的。实际上，从你看这个马尾绣的时候，因为它是白色，它中间的这个心的颜色很鲜艳的时候，基本上你的这个视觉就已经感受不到这个白色了，因为它起一个衬托的这个作用。
The horsetail thread is kept in place using invisible stitching. Shui ethnic women regard fine invisible stitches as the key to the embroidery's quality. Once the design has been outlined with the horsetail string, silk thread is used to color it. This is the second step, known as filling in the outline. Around a dozen different types of stitching are employed. The most common are coil stitch, braided stitch, and knotted stitch. Coil stitch features prominently in embroidering baby slings. The designs aren't merely decorative. The lifelike, exaggerated motifs reveal the Shui women's understanding of life. Typical motifs on Shui clothing are dragons, phoenixes, butterflies, and calabashes. A baby sling features mostly butterfly designs. A legend explains the Shui people's love of butterflies. Long ago, there were 9 suns in the sky, and the earth was scorching hot. By shielding the earth from 8 of the suns, butterflies saved the children there. Ever since, the Shui people have regarded butterflies as the guardians of their children. Calabash designs are also commonplace on baby slings. This motive is also related to Shui mythology. A long time ago, legend has it, a kindly boy and his sister helped a poor old man. In thanks, the old man gave them a calabash seed and told them that it would help them when they were in danger. Not long after, the world suffered terrible flooding. The boy and his sister were able to save themselves by taking refuge in the calabash. Shui ethnic women decorate their clothing and slings with calabash designs to express the hope that the gods will protect their families. All the designs have stories behind them. They also bear testimony to the Shui people's unique appreciation of beauty. Embroidered braid commonly features in a baby sling. The braid is produced using an ancient tool. However, the tools are rarely seen in the mountain villages these days. A braiding tool is on display at the Shui Ethnic Museum in Sandu Shui Autonomous County. It resembles a wooden bench. Wei Taohua demonstrates how it's used. 6, 7, or 15 strands are used in making embroidered braid. First, the fibers are woven together in the same way a girl braids her hair. Then, the braids are put in place, from the outer to the inner, according to a predetermined design. A feature of this embroidery is a strong relief effect. A single piece of embroidery is produced using various techniques to create the desired effect. It's a handicraft that has been cherished and developed by the Shui people for 1,000 years.
像韦桃花他们这种工艺大师，他们都是凭自己的想象，他不是说这个颜色他已经想好到那儿是什么颜色，也许他绣的那个地方他觉得这个颜色好看，他马上就变色了，他就换一种颜色了，再到另外地方又换另外一种颜色，在他刺绣的时候，连他自己都不知道他要刺绣出来的这个是什么颜色，是什么样子，等到他整个图案完全出来的时候，他自己也都才知道。
The skill has been practiced by ethnic Shui women in southwest China for 1,000 years. Nobody knows for sure how the art of producing embroidery from the hair of horses' tails originated, but explanations are found in legend. Why is it that horsetail embroidery is so closely associated with slings for carrying babies? Find out in Horsetail Embroidery, part of our unique handicraft series. The fourth step is joining the various sections. A baby sling usually consists of several small embroidered pieces. In joining the various sections, Shui women like to use gold thread. The golden rims make the completed look more splendid. The fifth step is to fix copper pieces onto the embroidery. In ancient times, copper was used for mining coins. Under some dynasties, common people were forbidden to cast bronze. But copper ornaments have always featured in Shui people's embroidery. They believe the copper pieces ward off evil spirits and protect their children. The copper pieces are made separately. In Shui people's eyes, a sling without copper pieces is not a proper embroidered sling.
水族马尾绣背带呢，它有2个内容呢缺一不可，缺少了呢就不能被称之为马尾绣背带。 第一个呢，就是马尾绣背带芯上面的蝴蝶纹，这个和它的那个祖先生存的这个一个传说有关。第二个呢，就是马尾绣背带必须要装订金钱，这个金钱呢也被他们称为铜片。水族普遍认为这个铜片具有驱邪避凶的这个作用。只有装上了这个铜片的马尾绣背带，这个水族的这个小孩才能够健康的成长，不受这些邪魔歪道的这些侵害。
Attaching the copper pieces to the embroidery is the final step. Sometimes, the Shui women find it easier to keep the various sections separate until the last minute. When all the individual embroidered pieces are finished and the copper pieces added, they sew them together. Wei Taohua demonstrates how a single sling is made from 22 embroidered pieces. In total, making a baby sling involves 50 steps and can take as long as a year. The designs on a horsetail embroidery are generally red and orange.
在搭配的过程中呢，自己的这些寨子里面的这些女青年啊，还有这些妇女啊，都会对她的这个色彩搭配呢，会进行一个评判。比如说，当她的这个色彩搭配得到了这个社会的这个群体的这个认可以后呢，她的这种色彩搭配就很快的就会在她的这个群体里面扩展流传开来，然后影响这一片的这个色彩。
Wei Taohua took with her to Italy not only horsetail and other embroidery samples. She also brought a number of other everyday items, including high-heel shoes, ties, and wallets. Wei Taohua explains that the articles demonstrate that Shui horsetail embroidery can be used not only in fabrics, but in all sorts of other commonplace items as well. Colored silk threads are used as the foundation in making the pointed horsetail embroidered shoes with geometric designs on their uppers. It takes 5 days to make a pair of these shoes. The complex techniques produce a three-dimensional effect. Shui women wear these shoes only on important occasions. At the International Exhibition in Italy, Wei Taohua's embroidered slings were a hit. Her embroidered ties and high-heel shoes sold quickly, and she became a star of the exhibition. But the embroiderers are getting older, and the techniques of embroidering with the hair from a horse's tail are in danger of being lost. Many young Shui women are heading to the cities to find work and are reluctant to learn this ancient skill. In order to keep the tradition alive, the authorities in Sandu Shui Autonomous County have invited some of its finest exponents to run training courses. Wei Taohua, along with Song Shui Xian, Wang Jinhua, and 7 others, has become a volunteer teacher. Horsetail embroidery requires patience and a great deal of personal sacrifice. The dedication of these folk artists means the skills are being handed down. But whether this unique tradition will survive into the future remains a major concern. There's a museum in Hangzhou that's dedicated to the works of father and son, Zhu Bingren and Zhu Junmin. Through years of dedication, these two men have taken the art of copperworking into entirely new realms, producing anything from articles of daily use to entire buildings. Is there any limit to their ambitions for their copperworking art? Find out in Copperworking, part of our unique handicraft series.